We're going to cover 6 ways to uplevel your creative writing to instantly boost your grade. Here are 3 ways to uplevel your creative writing through verbs. So a verb is just a doing word. So instead of saying walk, you could say strolled, referencing someone being calm, trudged, meaning someone's tired, charged, meaning someone's angry. Instead of look, you could say gaze, meaning someone's dreamy, glared, someone's angry, or glance, meaning someone's nervous. And instead of speak, you could say whispered, meaning someone's being secretive, declared, meaning someone's being confident, and stammered, meaning someone is feeling anxious. So it's good to not only have up-leveled vocab, but having up-leveled vocab for different situations or different emotions and feelings. Number 2, here are 3 ways to up-level your creative writing through adverbs. So an adverb, if a verb is a doing word, an adverb is a word that describes a doing verb, i.e. running quickly. Running would be the verb, the doing word, and quickly is the adverb because it's the way that it describes it. So here are some ways we can up-level it. For example, if we were going to say quickly, we could say instead hastily if someone's being urgent, briskly if someone's being purposeful, frantically if someone's being panicked. And instead of slowly, here are some ways we could change it. Lazily, meaning they're carefree, deliberately, meaning they're being intentional, or cautiously, meaning they are being nervous. So instead of saying happily, we could up-level it to gleefully, meaning someone's feeling uplifted, blissfully, meaning someone's feeling content, exuberantly, meaning someone feels energetic. So again, adverbs are really good because if you can up-level the verb and then also up-level the adverb, and then you string multiple of those together, you're gonna start to really form these very high-level and ambitious descriptions, which is so important for your creative writing or your descriptive writing, whatever you decide to do. So when we kind of break down all of these different ideas of like up-leveling your vocabulary and how to really improve it, we've already done this already for you on the Lightup Hub, guys. We've got creative writing vocab sheets, we've got model examples, we've got structures for you to use, we show you how to adapt any piece of creative writing in the exam, so you've only got to remember one, and we show that all for you on the Lightup Hub. I'll link some free lessons below as well, so you can just check that out if you want to. Number 3, here are 3 ways to up-level your creative writing through more ambitious color description. So say, for example, instead of saying red, you could say crimson, scarlet, ruby. And for example, instead of saying blue, you could up-level it to say azure, cobalt, cerulean. And then instead of green, you could up-level and change it to emerald, olive, viridescent, meaning like lush. So whenever you are doing any description, any piece of creative writing, you want to up-level your colors because it is such an easy way that you're going to describe something being green, something being blue, making sure you're using those more ambitious words and just having a few variations. So for example, for green, just have these 3 kind of saved in the back of your mind, and then you can utilize those in your creative writing. Number 4, here are 3 ways to up-level your creative writing based on having better descriptive words for emotions. So instead of saying something is sad, you can up-level it and say melancholy, meaning like sad but feeling quite reflective, desolate, meaning empty, grief-stricken, and kind of feeling more overwhelmed. And instead of saying angry, we could up-level and change it to incensed, belligerent, almost meaning aggressive, and seething. And instead of saying happy, we could change that to elated, meaning like overjoyed, contented, meaning almost peaceful, and euphoric, meaning overwhelming joy. Now, emotion is such a good one that whatever you're doing for your creative writing, try and think about what emotion is it conveying. Say you don't even have characters and you're doing a description, thinking about, is there any emotions that certain objects will be feeling? Can you personify them and give them emotions? Is there an emotional atmosphere? So kind of think about how you can tie those in. Even if you don't have characters, you can still include emotions, and it's an easy way to up-level your creative writing. Number 5, here are 2 ways to up-level your creative writing through up-leveling your vocab through onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is just words that mimic sounds, but we don't want to just use the basic ones. We want to try and up-level it so we can stand out from everybody else's pieces of creative writing. So instead of saying just bang, we could use crash, clang, thud. Instead of saying a buzz, we could use a hum, that's describing something a bit more calm, a whir, if you're describing something mechanical, and a drone, if something's quite monotonous and boring. Onomatopoeia, if used well, can be super effective, but you don't want to put too much onomatopoeia in because it makes the writing seem a bit less advanced, but it definitely holds its place. So if you can try and use onomatopoeia, but up-level that, then you're showing the examiner, of course, you're trying to use onomatopoeia, showing you're trying to use a technique, but you're also using more ambitious vocab. So it just actually shows that your writing is a bit more sophisticated and advanced. And lastly, number 6. Here are 3 ways to up-level your creative writing vocabulary through metaphors and similes. So a metaphor is saying something is something else, and a simile is saying something is like or as something else. So for example, a metaphor, you are a ray of sunshine. A simile would be you are like a ray of sunshine. So let's look at how we can up-level some. So instead, if you're going to describe something quick, instead of saying it is as fast as a car, we could change it and up-level that simile to as swift as a panther slicing through the warm orange hues of sunset. This kind of showing something's being really quick. I'm also adding in a bit of description in that as well. Or like a comet streaking across a midnight sky. Now, if I was going to change this to 2 different kind of metaphors, saying something is something else, I could say a streak of wildfire consuming the ground beneath it, or a jet of liquid silver darting through the air. Now, instead of describing something as bright, if I was going to change it to a simile, I could say as radiant as a diamond catching the first light of dawn. Kind of saying it's bright, but I've also made it, again, description, linking it to dawn, like the coming of a new day, and linking it to, of course, a diamond, something that would shine bright. Or I could say like molten gold pouring from a cracked crucible. A crucible is just like a metal container where it would be held. Again, thinking just a bit more outside of the box in terms of our similes, because that is going to be what's more impressive. And then for some metaphors, for something being bright, we could say a blazing torch that banished the shadows of doubt. Or we could also say a shard of the sun breaking through the storm. And lastly, let's look at dark. A simile I could use about something being dark, as impenetrable as the depths of a cave untouched by time. So impenetrable, like you can't break through to it. And then another simile I could use, like a velvet curtain drawn tightly across the horizon. Think about that one more links about something about sunset, think about a curtain drawing, horizon, creates a nice image with that. And then in terms of metaphors, a void that swallowed every flicker of hope. Nice for something a bit more of like a dark image, something a bit more mysterious. So if you did like this video, guys, make sure you subscribe. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a video here just to help you further with your English language revision.